Hello everyone, welcome to the all-new sports show presented by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. I'm Edward Green. Wes Bradshaw will be joining me momentarily. Do we have a show for you? Of course, it was Derby weekend. We had the Wilson County Derby for you on Saturday as our football game of the week between Beddingfield and Hunt High School. We'll of course be recapping all the action there, as well as hopefully getting you an injury on the Kavajae Ellis injury for the Bruins. We also will be filling you on everything else going on in our coverage area, Rocky Mount, Northern Nash, and others. And of course, 60 seconds of soccer, which is very interesting with the two derbies we had this weekend. And of course, another huge Todd Gurley update as he makes his march to the Heisman Trophy. It's the all-new sports show. Let's get it.
Dogs coming on a blitz, a nice pickup. Green gets rid of it and caught on the deflection. Puts 6 on the board, Knight fans. That is a touchdown.
And it is caught by number 20, Malik Williams, and he breaks free. He's going. One man to beat. It's a touchdown.
Howdy.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought the music was still going.
Oh no, it was. We're getting professional here. We're coming in as the betting track stays up.
Professional. Who are you?
We're aspiring for suboptimal. We're trying to get up to mediocre.
All right. Well, it's already been a quite mediocre start to the show, so let's kick it off, folks. Welcome to episode 7 of season 3.
Seven.
Gotta
What's in the box?
Every week. What's in the box? Okay. Every week I have to mess that up. Episode 7, season 3 of the all-new sports show, or as we like to call it, the season of serious.
Quite.
Can't you tell? All right, folks. This week we have the last week before the, as we call it, international break of high school football in the area. We're going to have games in Wilson and Nash County to talk about. One Edgecombe County game, just one this week, as the Power 2 in Edgecombe County take the week off before they get ready to hit the stretch of the season coming up. We will have Jimmy Lewis of the Wilson Times joining us. Also from the Rocky Mount Telegram, Andrew Ivins. No R, as I've written down here. It messed me up on that week 1 of knowing the guy and haven't gotten his name right since, but tonight I have. Folks, also to come, your favorite minute of the week, or as we like to call it, the minute where you probably turn it and check the pro football score. 60 seconds of soccer. We have a Bishop's Corner coming up for you, the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack, and I'm not going to give it away, but the artist formerly known as the unnamed play of the week has been named.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
All you people out there who had the opportunity to sponsor and have now lost out, it's on you.
Too late.
You had an
also, folks, we will give you a preview of next week's international break and the Todd Gurley update of the year.
Yes. A lot better than last year.
A lot better than last week.
Well,
last week, of course, they blew out, so he just kind of chilled. He kicked it and chilled. Folks, a big thanks to our principal title sponsor, Roger G. Taylor and Associates. You saw his name at the beginning of our credits, and you'll see it periodically. Whatever.
Rollicking good start.
Somewhere in the show, you're going to see that. Well, this is what happens when I get a week off from doing the show. Of course, it was last week Wesleyan football on the air. Next week, Wesleyan football in the air. So I'm going to be just as bad 2 weeks from now. Sorry.
You're like the Diego Costa. You can only go. We have to spread your appearances out.
Well, the problem is I need a good run of games so I can get a good run of form. I mean, just look at how good my play-by-play has gotten on Friday nights. As I'm into about 6 weeks of doing it now, folks, my play-by-play, I'm making Joe Buck look like a hobo. That's how good I am. He's dead, by the way, but anyway. Ed, why don't you tell folks at home how they can connect to us on social media? I'm sorry, is that Jack?
That's Jack.
Once again, folks, I'm not good tonight.
If you want to get in on the talk and tell us that Joe Buck isn't actually dead,
or if you wish he was, maybe.
You can direct those to @WesBradshaw21. If you want to actually talk about the show, you can direct it to @AllNewSportsShow. course, if you want to get us on Facebook, facebook.com/allnewsportshow, go there, like our posts, like our page. If you want to do the email thing, as you just saw on the bottom of your screen, you can email us allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Of course, there's other ways you can get at us. Instagram, check out our pictures there, at allnewsportsshow. Go to YouTube for all our latest videos, youtube.com/theallnewsportshow. And of course, if you want to mail us, the address is 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. Please, letters and parcels only, no live animals. Despite what I said on the podcast.
Oh, you said on the podcast I can have a puppy.
Speaking of the podcast, if you want to go to either podbean.com, iTunes, or Stitcher Radio, you can find the All New Sports Show, the podcast, there for your audible listening pleasure.
I told the girl and the boy that we might be getting a new puppy sent to us in the mail.
I hope not. We'll see.
Whatever. We're doing it live.
Everything comes this week.
We're doing it live.
We'll see.
Let's go. We're doing it live.
Yep.
All right, folks. That is our sponsors and social media. I'm sure everyone's thrilled to hear from us. Okay, folks. The high school football game of the week this past Friday night that Ed and I attended, so you know it was a big one. We made our way out to the jungle. No one died, as you'll hear later in the show. Good times. Up here is Axel Rose. Final score, Hunt 42, Beddingfield 12.
Yeah.
And Ed, this is a game that you might sit on the surface and say, oh, it was a blowout. Hunt just took them to the woodshed. You're not really getting the whole story at that point.
No, obviously the big story of this game was Kavajae Ellis getting hurt about midway through the second quarter. Looked like something wrong with his ankle. Hopefully we'll be getting you an update about that with Jimmy Lewis when we talk to him in just a little bit. But really that changed the entire game. Beddingfield was really hanging on at that point. He had actually just thrown another touchdown pass at the end of a half to make it 14-12 and still looked okay. But really, you could see throughout the game, he couldn't scramble. He couldn't put any pressure on the leg when he was throwing, so a lot of his throws were off target from that point on. Just never looked healthy. And from then on, and you said it a couple times during the broadcast, Hunt still probably would have won this game.
I thought Hunt was better overall.
But it certainly would not have been a 30-point game, you got to think.
I don't think they're holding Beddingfield to 12 points with a healthy Kavajae Ellis.
Certainly not.
Ellis came in after the injury and did throw a late touchdown late in the first half to pull it to 14-12. But even on that throw, you could see he didn't have a lot behind it. And that was the biggest thing. Not only did he lose that escapability that he had, but the biggest thing, he could not step into throws and put the customary zip on the ball that we're used to seeing from Kavajae. His outs, some of his throws down the sideline especially, just were not what they were even earlier in the game, where he was showing good arm strength. He was getting the ball out, doing what he needed to do. But once that ankle went, as a quarterback, you lose your stability throwing the football, and that kind of did Kavajae in that night.
Certainly. Also really affected his accuracy, too. And that was over the last game plus that we saw him when he was healthy. That was one of the other things I was so impressed with him, is how he was able to not just hit receivers, but hit receivers in stride, hit open receivers, and his receivers were still running great routes. He just couldn't put the ball like he was used to. Hopefully he's doing okay. Again, we'll get an update for you in just a little bit. But also, on the other side of the ball, Jacob Williamson did a great job for Hunt, really came out and was up to the task of really, for stretches of that game, being Kavajae Ellis' equal and also floating some very good passes in when needed to. Obviously, Hunt, always a very good running team, and they did rush for 187 yards on Beddingfield on the night. But I was very impressed with what Williamson brought to the table passing, too.
Jacob Williamson, I do not feel is the naturally talented football player that Kavajae Ellis is. I don't think he has quite the arm of Ellis. He certainly does not have the escapability of Ellis. What Jacob Williamson has, is a good team around him.
Yes.
A team that is established program. You know what you're going to get from Hunt. They're going to run I formation. They're going to run the football. And then they're going to ask Jacob Williamson, when we get a chance, let's take some shots and let's make some big plays. And that's what that young man did on Friday night.
Big things, 6 of 9, throwing the ball, 129 yards passing, no interceptions.
There you go. And the other thing that Williamson has, as we'll talk about it, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, he was our Telco Credit Union Player of the Game. We're going to hear from him in just a moment. He has the mind to go with it. This is a kid, we'll mention it, of course. He's a junior in high school. He's committed to Duke University to play baseball. Very good baseball player. But that right there, he's committed to Duke.
Yeah.
He's a smart kid. It definitely translates on the field. You can see it while he's out there. You can almost see the I like to tell my son, I can see the hamster wheel running in your head. With my son, I tell him that's running really slow, and the hamster doesn't look like it's eating very much lately. But with Jacob Williams, you can see that hamster jacked up like Arnold and doing sprints.
Very much. I was just so impressed with Williamson's decision-making. If they are going to make a run, and this is something we talked about with him, and even talked a little bit about Coach Hinnant, this is starting to mirror a little bit like last year. They didn't have a great start last year either. In fact, their last loss was, again, this Beddingfield game when there was a 15-13 at Beddingfield. Now it looks like maybe they get a little momentum from this. They've won 2 straight. They blew out Currituck, I believe, last week. Now they beat Beddingfield convincingly. Maybe this starts something again. Again, we love Fike, but they are the conference champions until somebody takes them down.
Well, and just the way I see it, I'm not totally convinced on Hunt until I see them play an elite team and beat an elite team. They'll have a chance in a few weeks. Northern Nash is playing some really good football at the moment. That's going to be a tough one. Then I believe the next week, Rocky Mount. Those are going to be 2 really tough games to start conference season. And of course, they end conference season with Fike. If they can run through the Big East undefeated and win the conference again, we might have something. I just think they're just a little bit off from where they've been. I think elite teams are going to give them problems, but we'll see. But we talked about the offense. Our Telco Credit Union player of the game was Hunt quarterback Jacob Williamson, and we're going to get the chance now to head back to the jungle, scary place, and talk with Hunt quarterback Jacob Williamson. So, one-name producer Lee, take it away. And folks, we welcome you to the field at the jungle. What happens at the jungle, Ed?
You're going to die.
You're going to die. But tonight, the Hunt Warriors, they're living and they're living well, and they were led tonight by their quarterback, Telco Credit Union High School Game of the Week player of the game.
That thing, too?
I just burned that one, didn't I?
Very long label.
Jacob Williamson. For the second year, Jacob taking him a T-shirt. It's going to start getting a nice wing of his closet at home.
Very nice.
Everybody's going to start getting jealous when he gets to wear a shirt every day of the week. Nice new one. Jacob, last year when you were our player of the game, it was somewhat seen as your coming out party, that ball game against Rocky Mount a year ago. Well, man, you're just picking up where you left off. A great game tonight.
I appreciate it. I got to give all my thanks to my line. I mean, we went in this game knowing that we had to throw the ball, and then knowing that they helped our running backs out a lot because spread them out on the offensive line. And I just want to thank all my linemen and everything for helping blocking. That's what we've been working on all week, so it paid off tonight.
We talked a lot about Kavajae Ellis coming into this game, but you really made a name for yourself again here on this season in case anybody had forgotten about you. Did a really great job tonight. What were you seeing out there from the Beddingfield defense, especially after you guys had success running the ball early?
It's just my receivers, they know where to go. They know where to go, and I know where to throw it. So, I mean, it's kind of helpful.
It makes it an easy game.
Jacob, you guys started your season 1-3. Last 2 weeks, you've come home, and you've gotten some things turned around. Now you sit at 3-3. You're going into your bye week, and then Northern Nash is coming to town. I can't remember their coach's name. You might have heard of them once or twice. Big ball game coming up. How do you guys feel right now? A bye week and then going into the Big East Conference.
I think it'll give us some rest on our legs. Get it back, watch them film. Get a little bit more work in for Northern Nash because they're going to be tough. It's going to be a good game.
Wes mentioned it, the start to the season. Does it feel a little eerily similar to how last year kind of went? There were some struggles early. It actually ended with a loss last year to Beddingfield. Then you guys routed off 7 or 8 straight all the way to the Eastern Finals. Does it feel like maybe that might be the case again this year?
It's a tough decision. It's last year. This year we have the games that we lost 2 games by, in the last second, 16 and 32 seconds left. We lost by 6 points combined. And it's tough. This year, I think we'll be fine. It's just going to be a whole lot of work, and I think we'll see what happens.
It's your Telco Credit Union player of the game, Jacob Williamson, heading to Duke as a baseball player. Folks, he's a heck of a quarterback on top of it. We're going to kick it back to the studio now. Let's continue to break down this ball game here on the All New Sports Show. All right, great to talk to Jacob Williamson. Great young man, great kid to talk to, and I do believe that might not be the last time that we ever talked to Jacob Williamson.
No.
As our player of the week, as we said, only a junior, and we have more Hunt coming up.
And we have a baseball season or two coming up.
Absolutely, we do have baseball coming up. All right, Ed, let's jump to the other side of the football
Yeah.
defensively. When Kavajae Ellis was on the field, Hunt defense, they were on their heels.
Yes, certainly.
Certainly. Once they rolled it up, the Hunt defense pinned their ears back, and they played a lights-out football game.
Yeah, they were very good. Obviously, when you take away basically Bedingfield's biggest weapon, defense gets a lot easier. But I will say this, it still looked like, for the most part, the defense was going to be good enough. They weren't going to be good, but they looked like they were going to be just good enough. I also say, and this was before the injury happened, Bedingfield was the first team to force a turnover. And the only 2 interceptions Bedingfield threw on the night were after Ellis got hurt.
That's right.
So I will give credit to both. Obviously, once Ellis got hurt and put his offense in a bad position, not terribly his fault, also kind of maybe question if he should have been out there.
Good job getting hurt, Kavajae. What's wrong with you?
But that's where a lot of the points, I think, came. I think, again, Bedingfield's defense was good. It wasn't great. And Hunt was really able to run over them for large parts of the game. But I think Bedingfield, once it gets into two-way football, will be better, except maybe when it goes up against Washington and even to an extent Southwest and Farmville Central.
That's right. It's going to be a tough conference. But what we've seen from the Bedingfield defense is that they've got some playmakers. And this week, we saw a couple of guys back into the fold that we had not seen the week before. Damon Cherry being the main guy, number 2 for the Bruins. He came out and just had a whale of a football game.
Both on offense and defense.
And special teams.
Yeah, he was really great the whole way around.
All over the place.
It almost looked like at one point he had gotten hurt. Thankfully, he had not. Also, he's got a pretty good arm.
Yeah, he does.
He came on for Ellis.
Came on and threw some late in the game.
He was good. I really liked what I saw from Cherry. And again, that's why it's so disappointing what happened to Ellis. Is that this could have been a great game, especially two offenses. I think this could have been a track meet, maybe something in the – if Hunt still scores 42, maybe Bedingfield gets to like 35. This could have been a really high-scoring game.
Yeah. I think we kind of got robbed a little bit.
Yeah.
All because he had to get hurt.
But I still think Hunt's better. I think Hunt has a solid defense, if not a non-flashy defense. They don't have Dexter Wright. Yeah. They don't have anybody like Dexter Wright, but they have a solid defense.
I think they're good in the secondary, which is good for them because going forward you're going to have Rocky Mount throwing the football.
And Fike.
You're going to have Fike throwing the football.
Maybe even Southern Nash a little bit.
We'll talk about Southern with Jimmy Lewis in a few minutes. He has thoughts already on Southern, and I think we agree on most of them. But with those two throwing the ball, you got to have that back four that can do things, and they do. That's a big thing they do. Well, folks, after everything was said and done, we got the chance to talk with one of our absolute favorite people to talk to, Hunt head coach Stevie Hennett. Took a few minutes with us just before the band concert began on the field. But anyway,
dramatic music.
Very dramatic. Big thanks to him, and now we're going to head back one more time out to the jungle at Hunt High School for this week's coach's interview. We are back at the jungle. Folks, we're joined tonight by Victoria's head coach of the Hunt Warriors, Stevie Hennett. Coach Hennett, first of all, great win for your guys, great win for your program. Now you set up, you're going into your bye week 3-3 with a brutal Big East coming up.
Yeah, and we're glad to get out tonight healthy, and that was the main thing. Of course, it was a big win. I thought when Bedingfield's quarterback twisted his ankle, it definitely, it affected their offense. I hate to see that happen to anybody's, one of the skill player or any player, but that affected them. But our kids, we came to play tonight. Made some mistakes, but we can fix them in the open week and be ready to go in the Big East.
Bedingfield started off very fast, and you guys responded with a slow, methodical drive right down the field and put 7 on the board. Talk about that kind of response for your team.
Well, that was our game plan. They are so explosive. They can score from anywhere on the field. And, my philosophy is, if we can move the chains, shorten the game, keep his offense on the side, And it don't always work out like that, but it did tonight. And you know, with his offense on the sideline, that's a good thing because, like I said, they are capable from anywhere on the field.
Coach, early on it was the running game opening everything up, and then it seemed like you just kind of took the reins off of Jacob Williamson and let the young man show that arm off a little bit. You know, was it something schematically that Bedingfield changed that suddenly you guys just found a lot of openings down the field?
Well, you know, he come off to the sideline and said, Coach, I think we can work, you know, in this area. And I said, well, okay, let's do it. And it just opened up for him. He's very smart. He sees the field well. He throws the football well. If we give him time to throw, he can do good things.
Thoughts going into the bye week after we last saw you in the summer, going into the season, where your team is now and where you still have to get to?
Well, you know, I think the Big East, you know, from 1 to 5 or 1 to 6, it's tough. We're much better now than we were back in August, but we have got to get better if we expect to do good in the Big East because, you know, I don't know how strong the conference is, but I do know it's going to be tight, and that's what, you know, we're going to try to duplicate if we can, and if we can't, we're going to win as many games as we can.
Certainly a tight Big East.
Tight Big East. Coach, 1-3 start. You know, what was it that's got you guys turned around to this point?
Well, you know, we got a lot of kids coming back off of last year's team, but we didn't have, you know, we're starting a lot of sophomores that didn't get a lot of, you know, playing time, and it's taking them a while to grow, and it's going to take them a while longer to get to where we need to be. You know, I don't know how good we can be, but I know that they do work hard, and we're going to continue to do the things that we do and just see where it takes us.
All right, folks, head coach Stevie Hennett, the victorious Hunt Warriors tonight, 42-12 your final score. Folks, we're going to wrap it up from here in the jungle. Good job. Nobody died in the jungle tonight. Take that, Guns N' Roses. You've got nothing on us. Folks, let's kick it back to the studio for more of the All New Sports Show. And I've officially worn that joke out.
Yep, it's done.
Completely.
It's dead.
But no one in the jungle died.
If it bleeds, we can kill it, though.
You can have anything you want. But you better not take it from me. And the last person I told that to was from the Wilson Times, Jimmy Lewis. And he said, you know what I want? He said, I want some airtime on the All New Sports Show.
Hey!
So we said, all right. Jimmy Lewis joins us now via the
phone.
Do we have a hotline
Nope.
sponsor?
Nope.
Nope. Call the D number. Nope. Nope. Phone line sponsor.
Nope.
All right, Jimmy, welcome back to the All New Sports Show.
Hey, Wes, thanks a lot. Pleasure to be back on the season of Sirius.
It is.
He's a serious guy.
Very.
He's in with us, absolutely. Jimmy, now let's get serious right off the bat. You saw one of the finest high school football games ever played on Friday night. Southern Nash 7, Aiden Grifton 6. Go.
Yes, people at this game will be telling their grandchildren about this game for some time to come. Brian Foster, great guy to talk to. Think a lot of him, but I think he and I are in agreement. This was an absolutely difficult game to watch. I mean, 7-6 being the final. Southern Nash had several opportunities in this game, but they squandered them all over the field. A field goal operation was botched. They missed a field goal, have one blocked. 6 fumbles, lose 3. Aiden Grifton's offense wasn't that great, but when it comes down to it, I mean, the Southern Nash defense made the stop there at the end, stuffing Aiden Grifton's fullback on the 2-point conversion. And like Coach Foster said right after the game, I mean, you can say anything after a game, but he said, ugliest game in Southern Nash history. He may have been saying that
That's
in
not
jest,
good.
but after that, I might be inclined to agree with him.
Been some ugly ones, too, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But for Southern, moving on, Jimmy, as we say, a boatload of penalties, and that's kind of just become the Southern way recently. Next week, they face a Tarboro team that the questions have still not been answered for Tarboro. Southern's going to have to be ready to rock and roll, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, Southern Nash, they just can't seem to get out of their own way a lot of the time, whether it be through fumbles, penalties, or what have you. But coming into this game next week with Tarboro, it'll be interesting to see which Southern Nash team shows up. Tarboro is coming off a loss to Roanoke Rapids not too long ago. So, I mean, the talent is there at Southern Nash to have a decent football team on the field, but it just seems like season after season, the same old thing just seemed to creep up with them in terms of fumbles and penalties. They just have to find a way to cut that out.
All right, so Southern Nash, they get a win, not a pretty win, but hey, a win's a win.
That's all that matters.
And it's better than a loss.
Absolutely. Hey, they'll take it right now.
They will. All right, let's move back into Wilson County with this one. The Hammer himself at the ballgame Friday night. Tom Ham covering what turned into maybe should have been a runaway Fight Golden Demons victory. They kind of had to hold on at the end and to beat South Johnston 41-35. Jimmy, kind of give us the rundown of this one.
Yeah, Fight was certainly rolling there in the first half. 5 first-half possessions go for touchdowns. They're leading 34-17 at halftime. But the big thing coming out of halftime for South Johnston was they recovered 3 consecutive onside kicks to start the second half. I've heard of back-to-back onside kicks being recovered, but 3 in a row is a little ridiculous, and that kept the Fight defense on the field most of the entire third quarter. They proceeded to where South Johnston got a Fight safety to make it 41-35. South Johnston recovered a Fight fumble in the end zone with about 15 seconds to go, so the Fight defense had to go back out there and stop them. Joe Ellis gets the interception to end the game, but those 3 onside kicks made this game a lot closer than it should have been.
And, you look at some of the other numbers, though, Jimmy. South Johnston loses 4 fumbles in the game. Of course, Fike also gets penalized 15 times for 141 yards. We just talked about Southern Nash. I'm pretty sure I'm on the right page here for this. I am. It was a joke. It was a joke, Wes.
Folks, get that sponsorship for the game of the week next week if you want penalties.
Yes. But, Jimmy, just now let's have some broader thoughts on Fike going into their bye as they look to keep this undefeated run for now the second consecutive season. They're undefeated through non-conference play, looking to make a run in conference play as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And the 15 penalties for 141 yards were actually on the South Johnston side of the ledger. That was the Hammer flip-flopping his penalty yards on that occasion, but still, Fike was penalized 8 times for 69 yards. But Fike again goes through the non-conference schedule unscathed. But again, the result of this game really doesn't change my perceptions of them. I still think they're the odds-on favorite to win the Big East. Their defense shouldn't be on the field for the entire quarter, going forward too many more times. Mm-hmm. So it's a situation where Fike should be in a pretty good position going into conference play, especially led by that defense. Of course, you can't discount quarterback DJ Daniels.
Right.
And finally, the backfield of Anthony Evans and A.J. Hines getting healthy and getting back into that groove. If those 3 pieces of the puzzle or humming, it's going to be tough to stop them offensively as well as defensively.
Yeah, I don't really take too much away from this. They were in control early. South Johnston coming into the game, they were 1-4. And when you're 1-4, you're going up against the 7th-ranked team in the state. Man, just you throw everything you have at them. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have nothing to lose. You go for it. 3 straight onside kicks. You're not going to see that very often, ever again, probably. So I don't take too much away from it. So I still say good win by Hunt. Sometimes you need that game.
Or Fike.
Yeah, them too. Sometimes you need that game that, does put the fear of God into you. And that can probably actually refocus this Fike team. And they can go on another run. They are 6-0 for the second consecutive season. They go undefeated in the non-conference. Last year, of course, their only regular season blemish was against Hunt in the last game of the year. So
that's right.
We'll see what happens. All right, Jimmy, something real quick. We already talked about Hunt Bettingfield to extent on this. Just wondering, do you have any sort of an injury update on Kavajae Ellis?
I do not. At this time, he tried to finish out the Hunt game on that ankle. I don't have an update to give you guys, but my understanding, he's still going to be week to week. And if there's any doubt in my mind, the kids won't play.
Well, and of course,
he tried to play through the Hunt game, but he looks severely limited. And we mentioned this on the broadcast of the game. hopefully you think with North Johnston and with North Pitt coming up,
Yeah.
hopefully you think maybe play them a half, play them a couple quarters, and then get them out when hopefully you already have a big lead.
Well, luckily for them,
And you have a bye week coming
you've got
up.
the open date coming up. North Johnston just won they broke a 19-game losing streak on Friday night against, I believe it was Northland North. So they're off the schneid, but I mean they're still 1-4, 1-5 at this point. It's not like they're setting the world on fire. I believe Bedingfield will be all right with that. North Pitt, I cannot tell you if they won or lost on Friday night. It has not been updated yet. Right, they would have played Green Central. But they were 0 for the season going in as well. I think Bedingfield's fine going
Sorry
forward.
about that. North Pitt ended up winning that game 21-7 to get their first
Okay.
win.
All right, so no longer are they getting two no-win teams on the schedule.
They're getting two one-win
now
teams.
2 one-win teams, so we'll see what they do. I think Bedingfield will bounce back and be just fine. All right, Jimmy, man, we thank you so much for hopping on with us tonight. Maybe we'll be talking to you next 2 or 3 weeks here on the All New Sports Show and jump back into Wilson County football.
All right, thanks for having me on, Wes.
Absolutely.
thanks.
Jimmy, have a great night, buddy.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right, too.
All right, Jimmy Lewis, Wilson Times, thank you for joining in on us.
He loves it.
Yes, I said hunt instead of fight, so sue me.
I
Not
will.
really. Not really.
I will.
I have no money. Can't afford anything.
I'll take your baby. I don't want the other child. I just want the baby.
Everyone wants a baby. She's so cute.
Yep.
She's so cute. All right, folks, we are going to take a commercial break tonight. When we come back, we're going to have Andrew Ivins, no R, from the Rocky Mountain Telegram join us to give us a Nash County rundown. Still to come, Bishop's Corner, the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack. We'll tell you what the play of the week is called. No free advertising here.
Even though it
next
kind of
week. Yeah, sure, even though it is kind of free. And, of course, the Todd Gurley update.
Yep.
And when we come back, the most exciting minute of your week. We'll take a quick commercial break.
It's Derby
This
weekend.
is the all-new sports show brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor & Associates here on WHIG TV.
The new place is perfect, or at least it will be, with a little help from Dex. In the book or at DexKnows.com. Dex can help you get results fast and deliver the best local advice so you can get it done right here, right now.
We should do this more often.
Dex, results for the here and now.
Good day, Eastern Carolina. It's Mike Keffer at Mike Keffer on the 301 bypass between Rocky Mount and Wilson. How do you roll? The summer clearance event continues on all new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram trucks. As part of the Keffer Automotive Group, we offer dealer group volume pricing without driving to the big city. Large selection, easy purchase experience, extended service hours, and fast oil changes are a few of the reasons to shop in Rocky Mount. Call 855-BUY-KEFFER or shop online 24/7 at MikeKeffer.com.
And we welcome everyone back to the all-new sports show brought to you by Roger G. Taylor and Associates here on WHIG TV.
Seen.
Ed,
Yes.
fun weekend of college football, high school football. Apparently the NFL played today. I don't really know.
Did they?
I didn't hear of anyone getting beat, so they must have let them actually play the games this week. Good for
Maybe.
them. But Ed, you know what else they did this weekend?
What's that?
Apparently they do this every weekend during their long season. It's called the Premier League.
The
And we
Barclays
cover it
Premier
here,
League.
And it's on 60 seconds of soccer.
Derby.
The team who came back from the dead.
Explosion.
And the dead kind of felt like me at the 91st minute
Oh,
of Saturday.
do you want to talk about that?
Crack it
Go
up.
ahead.
I'm going first. Where do I start? Merseyside Derby, the derby that the Reds of Liverpool have owned for years. And what happens? Just what we expect to happen. Stevie G scores a goal, and we go on to win except we don't win. Why? Because with about 2 minutes left of stoppage time, Phil Jagielka, England's Phil Jagielka,
The Captain Fantastic,
hits an absolute screamer into the top corner of the netting. Liverpool gets one freaking point. We sit in 11.
Hey, North London derby, Arsenal v Tottenham. Spurs get a big draw as they get 1-1 goals from Nasser Chadley. Of course, prevents the Gunners from getting all 3 points. It was magisterial as the likes of England international Danny Rose, French international Hugo Lloris, and Argentinian international Coco Eric Lamela all contributed to a big 1 point from Maurizio Pochettino's Arsenal, Liverpool, or Tottenham's first debut. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just so happy we drew instead of lost. I thought we were going to lose 4-0.
On the other hand, went in fully ready to rock, roll,
Nope.
and blow Everton off the pitch.
That didn't happen.
And we end up 1-1. Same result, totally different feelings about our results. And now to break the tie, we bring to you from the Rocky Mount Telegram, Andrew Ivins. Andrew, you watch golf, but man, I know you can fill in on soccer.
I did watch golf.
I'm sorry.
The wee hours over the weekend, and I knew going into it that the United States had no chance against Team Europe. They teased me. I think it was Friday morning, which would be late Thursday night, but we'll go Friday morning, which drew me in, and then they, in fashion, fell apart. So I put the Premier League on hold this weekend, but it was good to see the Spurs get a draw.
Oh, of course.
I had my buddy texting me updates throughout the North Carolina State football pregame, and I thought they weren't going to pull it out.
So this was Team USA Golf pulling a Team England.
Yeah,
when
basically.
They, football team. They get you hyped up like, oh, maybe something's going to happen. Maybe they're going to go to the semifinals of the World Cup this year. Some idiots predicted, obviously not me. Okay, it was me. And then they just fall apart, and then life stinks again.
Hey, it's fine.
All right, that's going to do it for the most exciting minute of the week.
I had a fun week. It was fun.
That stunk. But you know what, Ed? We have a little thing called Champions League this week.
And Europa.
Basel comes.
Besiktas.
Basel comes. No, we go to Basel. I'll
Yeah.
say that back. We go to Switzerland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get the Turkish team.
At home or in El Turco?
I believe at the Lane.
Oh man, thank God you don't want to go to Turkey.
No, nobody wants to go to
Terrible
Turkey.
place. All right, folks, and now let's get Andrew Ivins on for what we really brought him on for, to give you folks your wrap-up of Nash County football over the weekend. All right, Andrew, let's start at the top with the team who had the most impressive game of the week. Northern Nash, a 42-0 win over Smithfield Selma. The special teams obviously showed up, but it looks like as well for the Knights, the offense and the defense showed up.
Yeah, and you know, all the guys here, Jesse and Josh, the staff, we all had picked Northern Nash about the game. We all were kind of talking about. We weren't sure what Smithfield Selma was going to do. But you know, hats off to Randy Raper and them. I mean, they take control, and they're on a 3-game tear here, and this is kind of what they want to be with 3A Big East Conference play. You know, 2 weeks away. So yeah, I mean that was, I think, by far the most impressive result of the weekend. I like what they're doing. You know, on offense, when they have to throw the ball, they can throw the ball. So and then Quan Whitaker, I think he's one of the more dynamic players in the Twin County area. So it's some good balance.
Obviously, they have a ton of momentum going into their opening conference match against Hunt in 2 weeks. Another team that is from Nash County that got a little momentum back this past weekend on their third straight road game. Rocky Mount Griffons get a big 21-7 win at Triton on this Friday night. I talked to you a little bit about that, about a team that started off really well to open the season, but now bounces back after 2 straight losses.
Yeah, this is the one that I think the Rocky Mount needed. It wasn't really, I don't think when Coach Battle put it together with the schedule, he drew it up like this. Face a team like Triton, who probably, let's be honest, wasn't one of the top schools on the schedule, but they needed a win, and they got a win 2 weeks ago. They were not in any way expecting to lose Southwest Edgecombe, which, by the way, was a great game. I don't know if you guys were at it, but that was just a clash of, Southwest Edgecombe smash mouth football. I guess what I'm calling is more of a spread-oriented attack at Rocky Mount, and their offense just looked lost. So for them to rebound and pick up a win, I think that's huge.
And Ed, so we'll go from the great to the good to Nash Central.
Yes.
Okay, Nash Central. Oh God,
They hate us.
you hate to say it,
Yeah.
because I don't think they hate us. I think they actually like us. It's just, overall we got to tell how it is.
Yeah.
Kind of more of the same from Nash Central, 47-0 to what truly, and I'm not saying this tongue in cheek at all,
No.
was a team that at 1-4 is still capable of beating almost anyone in the state in Durham Hillside.
Hillside's great.
They had played a absolutely brutal schedule, had just some things kind of go against them, but for them, they got the chance to kind of get back to what they do best against Nash Central. And Andrew, I don't think the Bulldogs ever really had a chance walking through the gate.
Yeah, you talked about Nash Central. I get scared every time I dial Coach Crude up over there. I'm not sure he's going to pick up. But yeah, Durham Hillside. If you look at the schedule, I mean, this is a 1-4 team that's probably going to make a deep playoff run. They had played a ton of schools, so this was no match for Nash Central. And this is the stretch that we have been hitting at the whole time. I mean, now the conference play starts. They're going to have Fike, Rocky Mount, Northern Nash. I think it's somewhere lined up like that. But they do have a bye this week. And Coach Crude, when I was talking to him on Saturday, they're going to change some things up. They're going to move Hushan Gaines, start playing him more on offense, which is something that I think they've just been doing from week one. But,
Say that week one. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, this conference play, I guess, they want the best 11 on the field, which in a way makes sense. Can't discount them for that. So what that's going to entail, I'm not sure. If it's up to me, if I was calling the plays, I'd have Sean line up in a Wildcat package and get me 5 yards.
Hey, maybe that's what they'll do. A team that doesn't need to rely on that is actually just pounding teams right now, and another big win this past Friday night, 64-8. Rocky Mount Academy beats Lawrence Academy.
Ooh.
Another big win for BW Holt and the
same old for Nash Central. Same old for Rocky Mount Academy.
in the complete opposite direction. I mean, Andrew, is anybody going to challenge RMA this season except for maybe Southampton?
Talking about
not looking that
John
way.
Roberts.
They are just rolling past basically anyone and everyone. I really like Jacob Hunter there, the junior running back. And I believe on Friday they're playing Northwest Academy, who Lawrence Academy actually beat by 5 or 6 touchdowns. So we have a little pool going on here. How many points Rocky Mount Academy is actually going to score this Friday? It could be upwards of 8.
Andrew, did anybody take triple digits?
We haven't got that far yet, but it's pushing towards that. So.
I think if they get to 99, BW downs the ball at the 1.
Yeah, I mean, if he tunes in,
You got to have something to work on.
Something to work on. As we work our way down, Rocky Mount Prep this week, they take a tough loss to what is actually a quality Southeast Halifax team. They are really, man, they're a play away from being a winning side out of the non-conference season. What do we take away from that? Prep now about to go into conference where it's not going to get easier for them.
Southeast Halifax is, as we know, a solid team, but they go into the Two Rivers Conference. But speaking of the Two Rivers Conference, I mean, what do we really know about that?
Tarbur's going to win it. Other than Tarbur's probably going to win it, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, they're most likely going to win it, but if this is the year where there's much certainty in the conference, I would assume so it's this year. I know Tarboro had a bye this weekend, but I think there's some interesting days ahead there in the coming weeks.
And Andrew, a fellow Two Rivers team, North Edgecombe, they get I would imagine, expected win over Gaston Kip Pride, 52-8. I do not mean to disrespect your Kippers.
A, they are the Kippers, and B, they are the Green Bay Packers of Gaston, North Carolina high school football. Okay.
Okay. North Edgecombe improves to 4-2. Any thoughts on them, Andrew?
I think they might be the sleeper team in the Twin Rivers.
You're right.
I have not seen them in this season aside from the Tarboro football jamboree. But they're kind of creeping along right there. Right now they have the most wins in the Two Rivers Conference. That doesn't really mean much, as we know that conference league play has not started. But still, I mean, if you're winning games, that's what you want to be doing. I mean, that's showing something, regardless who they are. And they're putting these teams away, 52-8.
That's right.
So, hey, 4-2.
And Andrew, Ed will tell you that we did see them earlier this year against Southwest Edgecombe. I'm actually pretty high on North Edgecombe.
Yeah.
I really like some of their athletes. Antoine Pittman's an absolute
he's amazing.
stud. I know he had another good game. And then it looks like they threw the football for over 100 yards, which, at North Edgecombe, that's kind of like East Carolina throwing it for about 600. So, a big game for those guys. Good win for them. Taking a look now, pretty much everybody on a bye next week other than Southern Nash and Tarboro, I believe. Everybody, well, actually, Southwest should be playing. That's right.
Yeah.
Southwest will be playing. So we'll see how that goes. Andrew Ivins, last thing, Andrew, big win for the Hurricanes over the Dukies last night.
Yeah, I did not see that one. I saw it. I didn't pick it, but I think that's one of Steve Algolden's job. It's going to take a lot of pressure off. I've been running my mouth all week about that. So if you're a Hurricanes fan, you should be happy.
Well, there's one of us. I'm a happy guy. They saved my day of.
I didn't care.
They saved my day of Liverpool just being Liverpool.
I didn't know they were playing until 8 o'clock that night.
Go Canes! All right. Andrew, man, thank you so much for jumping on with us. We will talk to you in the near future, buddy.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you guys. All right.
Thanks,
Have a great
Andrew. I have so checked out on college football.
Oh, how can you?
Except for
It's phenomenal. It's
Georgia.
really good right now. It's really good. It's going to be a monster week of the SEC coming up, folks. All right, big thanks to Andrew Ivins, sports reporter of the Rocky Mount Telegram. And, folks, we've been on the whole show, and I did not call him Irvins once. I did so good. Everything I screwed up earlier in this show, which was a lot, I have totally redeemed myself.
Anyway,
moving on, Ed, it's time. Lee, one name producer Lee, and wherever McManus is. God, McManus always disappears when you need him. Let's put up that graphic. It is now time for Bishop's Corner. Next week in this time slot, you'll be getting Wesleyan football. So this is your Bishop's Corner and your preview for next week.
Yeah, Bishop's Corner, we got some scores to tell you about. Unfortunately for women's volleyball, it was not a good weekend as women's volleyball drops 3, including 2 yesterday, 1 to Ferrum 3-1, and then 1 to Averett 3-0. Both those were at Wesleyan. The football team does get a big win against Ferrum, 34-30 at Ferrum. Men's soccer, unfortunately, takes a loss at Greensboro today, 2-1. The Wesleyan women drew at Greensboro 1-1 also today, which happened in double overtime, which we're going to have to do some research because I'm not sure why you play overtime and still get a
Well, you didn't tell me it was double overtime. That's even worse.
Yeah,
Why did you go to a second overtime?
TOTs.
Wow, okay.
On the calendar coming up this week, as he mentioned, there is football this Saturday at 1 o'clock. But before we get to that, women's cross country on Tuesday at 4:30 at Methodist. Also on Tuesday at Wesleyan will be more women's volleyball. That's 7 o'clock. They will be hosting Methodist. Another big week of Methodist coming up on October 1st at 2 p.m. Men's soccer will be hosting Methodist and men. And then right after that, the women will come out to play Methodist as well. That's at 4 p.m. Again, both of those on October 1st. I believe that is Wednesday. Then Friday, women's tennis. Wesleyan will be going to the Methodist Fall Invitational. That's at 9 a.m. So it's a big Methodist week. As far as standings, the win this week for Wesleyan football gets them right smack dab mid-table, along with teams like LaGrange, Methodist, Maryville, and Huntingdon. In men's soccer, Wesleyan is 2-1 in conference, 6-4-1 overall, so near the top there. The women are 1-1-1, 5-3-1 overall. And in women's volleyball, they are unfortunately 1-5 in conference, near the bottom there, only 2-12 overall. I believe that is all. Or maybe women's tennis. Women's tennis has not really started yet, apparently. And then I think that's it. Maybe men's golf.
Not cold enough yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Big Bishop's Corner. And, folks, next week, don't forget, head out to Bishop Stadium, as it's now known, at the Rocky Mountain Athletic Complex.
King Power.
Kickoff 1 o'clock. The All New Sports Show team will be signing autographs from 12:45 to 12:50 down near the bathrooms. Come down and say hello.
That doesn't sound creepy at all.
Well, that's usually where I go between 12:45 and 12:50 on game day. So that's right before kickoff. You know, I gotta do what I do before I go.
It's very creepy.
It'll be outside the bathroom. You don't have to come inside the bathroom, okay? Really?
Sort of creepy.
Still creepy.
A little bit.
Okay.
Have you seen where those bathrooms are down there?
They're right next to the concession stands.
Yeah, but they're kind of in the back of the concession.
Men's bathroom side, not women's side. Now, that would be creepy.
Yeah,
if I was signed on the women's side, that would be creepy. That's right. I've totally justified this to myself in my mind. Okay, big thanks for Bishop's Corner this week. And like we said, next week you'll get real Bishop football here, so that'll work well. That'll be a 3-hour broadcast of Bishop's Corner. Mostly. There we go. All right, folks, time to head back into the high school. This week, folks, big week for the Crystal Clear Pepsi six-pack. Yes. I believe we had some movement.
Oh, no.
No, okay. Even better, since I didn't do any research on it. Even better.
Let's go to the picks.
Let's go to the tape.
Oh, it's a big week. Some good. Everybody with a plus 500 week. As you can see, Wes only Beddingfield. Oh, poor man. He just misses Beddingfield, but gets everybody else. As we move over to Tony Dowdy, who wins the week this week.
Darn.
Tony Dowdy is now at 6-0 to push him to 30-6 for the season.
I gotta stop taking chances.
Unfortunately,
wow! You took a chance.
I did take a chance. I gotta make some movement
here. Take a chance.
To be fair, I would have picked Rocky Mount if I wasn't already behind you guys.
Okay.
So I gotta
You
make.
Still got half the season left, but okay.
True.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, you come up with these picks. You should skew them in your favor, but still.
I do. Clint also goes 5-1 on the week, and that makes him 27-9 overall. So basically, they were misses. They were just Beddingfield this week.
So there was movement. Tony pushes his lead.
Yeah, Tony does push his lead. No actual flipping of standings as we go to the final standings here, real quick. Did
he get another badge?
He does get a badge.
Oh!
Tony Dowdy does get a second badge, as you see there, which is big if it comes down to tiebreakers. But again, Tony now with a 3-game lead over second place.
I'd like to know Clint Williams' name is ahead of mine when alphabetically the B comes before the W.
The C comes before the W.
So? Your point being?
So.
Don't you go by last
He
names?
wins on Golden Front. Tony Dowdy taking the horse placenta and just pulling away from everybody in second place. So that is
he is the Chelsea of this league this year. Yes. Oh dear. Okay, folks. So that was this week's Crystal Clear Pepsi six-pack. Remember, folks, if I win the Crystal Clear Pepsi six-pack challenge this season, I have vowed to find a bottle of 20-year-old Crystal Clear Pepsi and drink it on the air.
Not good.
Hilarity for everyone else.
Thank God Tony's going to win.
Let's hope so. Then he can drink the drink. All right, folks, it is time for our play of the week. And Ed, we've got a sponsor.
Yep.
Tell them who it is.
Krispy Kreme. It's the hot play of the week. So let's make our way back out to Beddingfield, where for the second week in a row.
What?
For the second week in a row, Beddingfield is involved in the play of the week, as Beddingfield at the end of the first half again has another fantastic play, this time an 80-yard pass from Kavajae Ellis. Let's head on out to Hunt High School.
Beddingfield last week, they were in a more dire situation. They were 99 yards away from pay dirt with about 54 seconds left. The only difference was it was Nash Central and not Hunt that they were playing.
And it was a healthy Kavajae Ellis in the backfield. But I still look, with one timeout, they may dare to Dyer.
Dare to Dyer Wolf.
Yes. He was born in England, raised in Portugal.
But still all English.
Yes, he is.
A good oof of the ball.
Yes.
Ellis looking to throw. Ellis, man out. And caught!
I know.
There they go. Ball to 40, 30, 20. Why do you doubt Kavajae Ellis?
I don't know anymore.
80-yard touchdown pass to Monte Cherry.
I don't know anymore. I don't know.
Dare to Ellis.
Dare to Dyer.
Dare to Ellis.
Adere est facere.
Call him Air Ellis from now on. Folks, a beautiful throw And DeMonte Cherry, once again, the secret weapon that obviously they just didn't want us to get on film last week.
Certainly. They were holding him back.
Cherry has over 100 yards receiving here in the first half, and
Most
he gets an 80-yard touchdown catch.
Certainly a nominee for the Krispy Kreme hot play of the game. We thought we had ours earlier. For the second straight week, is it going to be a Bedingfield touchdown almost at the death?
Okay. That was a really nice Krispy Kreme hot play of the week. I'm just happy we finally have a sponsor. I was getting kind of sad with the sad horn. Geez, sad horn, you make me sad. Oh, geez. All right, folks, as we mentioned, it is the international break.
Yes.
Even though there's nothing international about it around here, or as we've always called it in the past until we had to get cute this year, it's pretty much the mid-season bye weeks. So just to be boring, but as you folks know, I love Europe. So anyway, all right, folks, I am going to start off tonight in the Two Rivers 1A Conference. After a win against Kip Pride this past week, North Edgecombe has an open date, so they will not play. They will return to action October 10th as they will travel to Rocky Mount and take on Rocky Mount Prep. Speaking of the Jaguars, they as well have a bye this weekend before, of course, hosting North Edgecombe. The team without a bye this weekend, the Tarboro Vikings, as they go on the road the next 2 weeks at Southern Nash, which the high school football game of the week will be at Friday night, and then at South Creek, which is a game that I believe they would go win. South Creek, though, off to a pretty good start on the season. They have a winning record. So Tarboro, 2 weeks on the road before they return home for Rocky Mount Prep.
Yep, going over to the 2A Eastern Plains Conference, we have two teams over there. First one is Bedingfield. They will be on their bye this week. After losing to Hunt, they go into the bye 3-3, and then they will open up in 2 weeks conference play at home against North Johnston, who is now not winless. They have won a game. Also, Southwest Edgecombe, they were on a bye this week. Mm-hmm. They will be wrapping up non-con schedules this Friday night against East Carteret.
Do they go to East Carteret?
No, they do not.
Thank God.
No, they do not. And then the week after that, they will be hosting North Pitt to open up conference play.
All right, as we head to the Big East 4A Conference, the Fight Golden Demons in their non-conference slate 6-0. They've been mostly dominant. This past week, a few hiccups, but hey, 3 straight onside kicks they don't recover. You know,
probably not going to happen again.
No, probably not going to happen again. They face the vaunted open date, and then they hit the road for week 1 of the Big East season as they travel to Southern Nash. Their schedule a little more backloaded, as we'll get into in a few weeks to come. The Hunt Warriors, Hunt ends up 3-3 in the non-conference. Of course, they have an open date before October 10th. They host Randy Raper and the Northern Nash Knights. Apparently, there's some backstory to that. We don't delve into that.
We don't discuss industries.
Post Nash Central sitting at 0-6, coming off a Hillside loss. Yep. Folks, good news for Nash Central. They are a favorite against the open date this week. 3
points.
I'm still not totally ready to pick them. But every time I pick Nash Central, you know, something happens, so I'm not picking them against the open date.
One of your picks to no, they weren't your dark horse.
No, they weren't the dark horse. I drank a little too much Kool-Aid.
You picked them against Harper.
I picked them against Tarboro. I think I picked them against Hereford County, and I picked them to beat a Big East school.
Yeah. One of those things can't happen this year.
One can still happen. Of course, they're going to have a tough one to open conference season October 10th. They host the Griffons of Rocky Mount. I believe we will be there.
We will be.
We'll be there. That's awesome. Northern Nash, the now suddenly streaking Northern Nash Knights, they in their non-conference slate at 4-2. They've won 3 straight after winning against Smithfield Selma. Open date, they travel to Hunt to open Big East season. That's going to be a heck of a ball game. A lot of hard hitting, I believe, we're going to go in that one. The Griffons of Rocky Mount, they get back on the winning ways. They finish their non-conference at 4-2 overall. Open date, then, of course, they host Nash Central, they travel to Nash Central, and the next week travel to Hunt. So Rocky Mount got a little tough slate coming up after the bye. Southern Nash, who had their open week a week ago, they are They're playing Tarboro. They're hosting Tarboro. Well, I was going to say, getting into a long stretch of games here for Southern Nash. They're going to host Tarboro this week. Next week, they host, at this point, what you've got to see is the favorite for the Big East Conference. They host the Fight Golden Demons. So right out of the gate, we said earlier, Fight kind of a backloaded schedule. Southern a very front-loaded schedule. Fight, Northern, Hunt, Rocky Mount.
Yep.
And then Nash Central.
And I believe we were going to be at that Southern Northern.
Ooh. It's at Northern. Good. Don't want to go about Southern. All right. So that is your preview for next week. And it just seems as if, something else happened this week. There is one thing keeping you involved in college football, Ed, and it is the chance that sitting on this very table in maybe January may be the Heisman Trophy. And that Heisman Trophy would be brought to us by Todd Gurley. So each and every week, folks, we'd like to give you a Todd Gurley update.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. Let's head right into the Todd Gurley update. As very shortly the graphic will appear behind us. Of course, another big game for Todd Gurley.
Big, huge.
Now that the game was actually close, he had to respond in kind.
They let him actually carry the football.
They let the dog out of his cage, and he did some stuff.
Woof, woof.
Yeah.
They may have had to clean up behind him a little bit.
They're terrible.
Because he dropped some bombs on the Tennessee Volunteers. There's our graphic.
Only 298 total yards of offense for Todd Gurley. Poor guy.
Set a career high for rushing.
Yeah, 208 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, only a 7.4 yard per carry average. So
average suffers a little.
It is what it is. Also did have 4 catches for 30 yards on the receiving end, and just for good measure, had 47 yards of return on kickoff.
And that is literally because Tennessee was terrified to kick the football to Todd Gurley.
Yep.
And what you saw out of this, Ed, Georgia, how do we put this nicely about Georgia?
They're not very good on defense.
Their defense is steaming garbage, especially their secondary. So therefore, you have to have a guy like Todd Gurley because somehow you have to hold on the football long enough for your defense to try to be semi-competent. What you also saw yesterday, Sony Michel, one of their highly touted freshman running backs, out with a shoulder injury. Head coach Mark Richt did not give a definite schedule, but he said he would be shocked if we saw him anytime soon. That's not a very confident thing to say about the young running back. So therefore, folks, going into the future, depending on the health of Keith Marshall, you're going to get an extra dose, I believe, of Todd Gurley because right now, Gurley and Nick Chubb are the only 2 healthy running backs on the roster for the Dogs. That can only be good for Todd Gurley's Heisman campaign.
Absolutely, which right now consists of, through 4 games, 610 rushing yards. That's an 8.8 yard per carry average. 6 touchdowns on the year. He also does now have 9 catches for 29 yards. I thought maybe it would have been more than that. Seems kind of odd. But he also does, of course, have those kick return yards, which now total 147 yards. Of course, a lot of that came in 1 kick return, which was 100 yards and a touchdown.
Well, once again, teams don't want to kick to him. Those coming up.
Why would you?
Next week should be a week for Todd Gurley, hopefully to pad that stat book as the Dogs host the Commodores of Vanderbilt, who are literally the worst team in the SEC this season.
2013 Vanderbilt.
No, not at all. This is the Vanderbilt that your brother, mother, father, cousin, uncle, and sister grew up watching. They are Vanderbilt. We'll just leave it at that. At Missouri is going to be a big one. I would not be shocked to see that be somewhere one of those primetime SEC games. Has not been put on the schedule for a time yet. Then at Arkansas, which Arkansas gave Texas A&M all they could handle yesterday before A&M pulled out a win. They and their star quarterback Kenny Trill.
So Trill.
Kenny Trill. He's so Trill. And then, of course, Saturday, November 1st, I don't care because I'm not politically correct. It's the world's largest cocktail party as they go to Jacksonville to take on those hated Gators. And Ed, the eyes of a toothless gummy Gator Nation will be upon Jacksonville as Todd Gurley will turn the Gators into handbags and maybe a nice pair of Gator shoes. That's going to be your 3:30 CBS game that week, so that'll be a fun one. Kentucky, Auburn, toughie with Charleston Southern, and Georgia Tech round out the schedule. So really, Ed, going into it, maybe Missouri. Georgia might be an underdog just because that Missouri's playing some pretty good football. Other than that, I think November 15th, home against Auburn, is going to be the only other game this year that the Georgia Bulldogs are going to be underdogs in.
It's going to be Gator. I am so excited.
Gator.
I'm so excited for Georgia.
Gator needs his gat back.
Yep. I love Gator.
All right. So that is this week's Todd Gurley update. Yay! As I put it on here. And folks, that is going to be another edition of the all-new sports show. Ed, put yourself over.
I am, of course, at Edward Green. You are on the Twitter.
At Wes Bradshaw 21.
Of course, as a collective here, we are at All New Sport Show on Twitter. Of course, you can also find us again on Facebook, facebook.com/All New Sports Show. Find us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/The All New Sports Show. Follow us on Instagram. We're on Instagram, instagram.com/All New Sports Show. Of course, you can also plain old email us, allnewsportshow@gmail.com. And lastly, but not leastly, you can get us through snail mail, 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201.
We need a puppy at the Bradshaw house.
Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. Please do not send puppies.
I would like a Mastiff.
No. And finally, you can, of course, listen to the All New Sports Show, the podcast. Episode 21 is out. Episode 22 will be out later this week.
Double deuce.
It's going to be fun.
I just like saying double deuce.
And you can find those on podbean.com. Also, you can find it, of course, on Stitcher Radio. You can also find it on iTunes. On all three of those, just search for All New Sports Show. You will find it there. Or you can go to our Facebook page where all the links are conveniently put there for you.
That's right, folks. Remember, no All New Sports Show next week. Well, we do have an All New Sports Show. It's a special edition, Battling Bishops football, right here next week starting at 7 o'clock on WHIG TV. And don't forget, folks, if you want to check that game out live,
it is live.
Apparently, I found out in the second half of the game last week that we've been live for the first two games of the year. So I'm assuming we're going to continue doing this.
Absolutely.
And how can the folks catch us live?
Go to the Wesleyan Sports homepage. It's all the instructions are there.
Sure.
I promise.
I guess. Like I said, never knew we were live until we got live tweeted. And don't feel ashamed to live tweet during the game.
No, absolutely. If you're going to be watching the Wesleyan, please, producer Des will actually be manning our Twitter. So go on at All New Sports Show and interact with us during the game.
That's right.
We can't usually do that.
Were we going to do a hashtag this week?
Yes. We haven't figured it out yet, but we are. We'll let you know.
Oh, so we're not going to do that horrible obscene one that we were going to do.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know
because I would never come up with anything like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Good.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. Folks, so we will be back here in studio in 2 weeks after the first week of conference football season. It's going to be a big week, so be sure to join us. Also, folks, enjoy Wesleyan football next week. For Ed Green, for producer Dez, wherever he went, for One Name Producer Lee, I am Wes Bradshaw. This has been another episode of the All New Sports Show brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. Good night, America, from WHIG TV.
Good night, Canada. Congratulations, Justin Morneau.
Warpig. I might have really broken something.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the All New Sports Show presented by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. It's Derby weekend. We had the Wilson Derby here for you on our... Oh, I can't say that. Never mind. Let's try it again. I can't say free and crazy.